Hello, hello. If you are watching this on the replay, comment replay. Nobody's on yet, so most of you will probably watch it on the replay because this was last minute. But I thought I'd get on here and show my face finally and say hello to everyone, and thank you so much for joining my group. As you can probably tell, it's a work in progress and we are just getting started. And of course I chose to do that during my busiest time of year, which is right now until December. But I am finally gonna get to paint today. I probably haven't painted in, I don't know, like not a lot. I haven't done a lot of painting in the last couple of weeks. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna pull this up on my iPad so that I can. Whoa. Oh, here we go. So I can see any comments that come through. Hopefully. We also may be interrupted by dogs and or Kevin. I think he might be on his way home. I'm not sure, but I told him that I was going to go live in my group, so I'll just shut the door if he arrives, because the dogs will go crazy, so we'll know. Anyway, I am getting ready for a big workshop this weekend. On Sunday, I will be at the Tacoma Dome, which is a big venue in Western Washington, for those of you who are not from here. They do lots of concerts and stuff like that, but they do the first kind of kickoff to the holidays there this weekend. It's the Tacoma Holiday Festival, I think they call it. So I got asked to do a workshop, so I'm going to be painting ornaments with a couple of groups of people, and I'm really excited about that. But that's kind of taken up my time lately because I've been cutting lots of blanks and stuff because I'm going to have a booth there. So I've been busy doing all of that, and I haven't had a chance to paint, but I've been really wanting to paint, so I'm going to do that today. So I was trying to cut a smaller version of this. This is a big 18-inch Santa. He's going to be super cute. But I was trying to get a smaller one cut, but I didn't have enough time before I said I was going to go live, and I didn't want to be late. So I guess we're just gonna do this big boy. So I haven't listed him in my Etsy shop yet, but I will try to hopefully get that done today. After I get him painted, and then I will get photos of him. So he'll be in multiple sizes. You'll have options, so they're not all gonna be this huge guy, but yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera so that you can watch me paint. You don't have to look at this mess the whole entire time. But if you have questions, just pop them in there. And even if you are watching this on the replay, you can comment and ask questions, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. I've noticed I'm not getting alerts about the group as much. So like, I'm not seeing everything there, so I don't know. I'll have to take a look at that and see how I can make sure that I'm seeing those other than just checking it regularly. So anyways, let's see if I can get this flipped around without making anybody queasy. I think I'm gonna have to flip my phone. So bear with me here. Okay. And then get it back in my case. I had to put a weight on there because it wants to flip over. And we don't want that. Okay. I'm gonna have to get a better setup, but this will do for today. And I'll try to make sure I'm staying in the camera. Okay, so I have all of my pieces here. What I like to do first is I will go through and separate them by color. So Obviously this is the base piece, and I'm gonna do him red, but I think I think I might try this crimson. I bought this, this is Bear paint I just put into a honey bottle. It's from Home Depot, and it's just called Dark Crimson. So I think I might try that instead. I normally do this red, which you can see is a lot brighter, but I thought this one might be fun. So I'll paint him red, and then his face, I use this color called Natural Buff, which is, I've color matched a lot of things from other paints that I had. So I believe this one is a Deco Art. It's a really good skin tone. So anyways, we'll set that aside. And then, so obviously his beard, and he's even got little eyebrows. How cute is that? Let's see. So those are white. So I like to use, I posted this last week, but I love to use painter's tape, or you can just use masking tape to put these smaller pieces on, to keep them from it just makes it a lot easier to paint, especially if you're using a makeup wedge, which is my preferred method. So I just like to do them by color usually. So let's see, what else do I got here? If it's a bigger piece like this or the tree, I'll probably just paint it real quick. Okay, and then these berries, these will be red. So there's that one. And then I've got green. Hopefully you can see this in the group. Let's see. Oh. Okay, so those are going to be green. And I don't know what color I'm going to do the lantern. I might do it brown so it's wood, looks like wood instead of black, because his little hands will be black. Okay, so if you're hopping on, say hello. I would love to hear from you. Okay, let's see. So I'm getting these pieces taped down, and then I'll get painting. That's his little nose, so that's gonna be a flesh color. All right. So I'm gonna start with white because it usually takes multiple coats. Even on this MDF, it will take at least 1 or 2 coats to get good coverage. And I just, I use scraps to put my paint on. I don't use like a paint tray or anything fancy. These are just from labels from shipping. So, okay. And then I've mentioned before, but I use makeup wedges to do probably like 95% of my painting. I don't know whoever thought to do that, but ever since I started, I've just never gone back. So I'll just put a little paint on here. So I load the makeup wedge, and then I well, for this, you might not need to do this because you're going to need a lot of paint for the good coverage. But if I'm doing something that's smaller, I'll offload it so there's not so much paint on there. Hi, Suzanne. Thanks for joining us. Or me, not us, me and Santa. I'm painting a Santa. He's gonna be really cute. Okay. So I just load my makeup wedge up and I start dabbing. It's pretty simple. This is a fast and easy way to paint a project. I have it up on my iPad to try to see comments, but I can only just see myself painting. I'll get this all figured out once, someday. Okay, so you can see it's got a pretty good coverage on that first pass. I just try to make sure it's even so I don't have any weird lines. But once you get a few coats on there, it won't matter anyways. So there's that. And then this is the little brim of his hat. And if you ever get pieces and they have like some brown, you can just use, this is a, I don't know what these are called, gator finger sander or something. And I use 220 grit on it and just clean them up a little bit. And that helps, especially with the white pieces, because they can, sometimes that brown can come through if you don't get that off of there. I try to send them out already pretty cleaned up, but sometimes you might have to hit it with the sander a little bit. And the MDF does a really good job of that, of cleaning up, so. Okay, let me see here. Okay, now I gotta mute myself. I don't know how to see the comments. Weird. Okay. I'll just keep trying to look at my phone while I do it. Okay. So I now buy, because I use so much paint and I do paint classes, I buy paint at Home Depot. I buy the Bear, and it's just like flat house paint. But you don't have to do that. You can use any kind of paint, really. It's really a personal preference. But you can buy like Decor and I think what's the other one called? Americana. I used to use a lot of chalk paint. And you can buy that anywhere. I used to buy it at Joann's, but obviously they're gone. I think Michael's probably still has it. I haven't been there in a long time. But you can even get it at Walmart, so. Then you don't have to buy a ton. All those little paint bottles, they go pretty far. Okay, so then we have the big, let's see this guy. I just need to paint his beard because all the other parts are gonna be, I'm gonna go up here just in case. I haven't painted this one, so it will be a surprise for all of us. So on bigger pieces like this, you could use a brush. I still just use a makeup wedge. Even sometimes I will take it and go like that with it to do it a little faster on the bigger pieces. On the small pieces, I just do the dabbing. but this kind of gets it going faster. As long as you have a good fresh makeup wedge, it shouldn't fall apart. Whoop. What are you painting, Suzanne? Or are you not painting anything today? These makeup wedges are from Amazon. I don't remember what brand it is. I did post it in the group a couple weeks ago. It's not an affiliate link or anything. It's just a link to the wedges that I buy. There's a lot of different makeup wedges on there or out there, and they are not all the same. These ones are firm, which is what I'm looking for usually. If they're really soft, that isn't gonna be a great experience. Hi, Deb. I do not wash them out. You know, I don't even know if these would wash out. I just, let's see. Here's one I've already used, and I just clip them. So I'll just cut it off and keep using it until I can't use it anymore. I mean, some of them get pretty small, which is good for some stuff. You can even, if you're doing smaller stuff like ornaments and stuff, you can even cut them in half so you can get more out of it. But yeah, I don't know that you could wash these out. I've honestly never tried. I'm really bad about washing out my paintbrushes even, so I don't think I'd be doing makeup wedges. They would all dry up before I ever got there. Okay, so for these like smaller pieces, I prefer to try to keep my edges clean. It's not always going to happen, and if it doesn't, then I will go through with either a baby wipe or even a Q-tip and clean them off. But the best way to do it is with the makeup wedge, and you're going to put paint on it, and then you just, you kind of want to just offload as much as you can there, so there's not too much paint on there. I still, you know, get it on the edges sometimes, but this is your best chance. With a paintbrush, it would be really tedious to try to paint those. So you can see it kind of goes over a little bit on the edge. I don't know if you can see that, but that I don't mind. It's when it like globs all down there, then I'll clean it up. These are his little cuffs, I guess you'd call them. Okay, almost done with the white, I think. That's annoying. It's getting too close. I'll just take that off. So these bigger pieces, you can just hold them usually in paint. If you're like me, I have paint all over my hands all the time anyways, so it doesn't really matter if it gets on there. Okay, so now one coat, I've done one coat on all of them. Usually it doesn't need a sanding, but if you want to, you could sand it with that 220 grit. Sometimes I do that if it gets, the paint gets weird, but usually I don't need to do that. So just go back over these. might get away with just 2 coats on this, so that'd be nice. I was gonna do a smaller version of this, but I hadn't cut it yet, and I was running out of time, so we're doing the big one. And he stands tall, stands about 18 inches tall when he's done, so that'll be cute. The great thing about this paint is it dries pretty fast, especially if you apply it with a makeup wedge, because you're doing a lighter coat instead of, you know, using a paintbrush. You can really glob it on there. I always try to tell people in my classes, you know, less is more. You don't need as much paint as you think you do, because then they'll sit there and have to wait for it to dry so that they can glue their stuff together. And I don't usually bring a hair dryer or anything. I probably should. Okay. Might need another coat on these just to make sure you can't see any lines. Okay. Hopefully you're not seeing too much shadows. I have 2 lights here, but I don't know if that's enough. Okay. Let's see, I did that one. Just gotta do his beard. Okay. Okay, this part's probably not too exciting to watch. It'll get better once we start putting some details into him. Let's see. Oh, I didn't think about it. I could do some lines to give his beard some texture. Maybe I'll do that after this dries. Blend some in there. Okay. It's just the basic white from Home Depot, the bear. Nothing special. You don't even have to go to the counter for that one. You just go buy their base. That's what I do anyways. I know they have some like whites you can have blended, but this one's just what I need. Okay, let's move on. Let those dry. Let's see. Okay, so he's going to be holding a tree. Let's see. I I haven't thought about what color. Yeah, you can just go to the paint cans and grab it. Okay, so which green for the tree? This is like what's called Spanish olive, or this is like a darker antique green. I kind of think this one maybe. I need to fix this cap. You like the dark one? Okay. What about for these? Do you think I should do this color? The lighter green, the olive green? It'll look a little different. Or do them both the same color? Oh. There goes the dogs. I bet Kevin's home. Welcome to my life. My little howlers. Well, not so little. Yep, Kevin's home. Okay, and I guess I should do this brown. I sent him a text warning him I was going to be live, so hopefully he got it. Okay. I got a little green on there. Oopsies. It's okay, that brown covered it up. Okay. Got stuff in there. I might need another coat on that. Okay, I'll do these this green. Alright. we're almost to the fun part. Okay, do red on these. Where's that one I cut in half? I already lost it. There it is. Okay. These are the little berries that are going to go on his little greenery piece. There's two that go on the lantern and then one that's going to go on his hat. So I'm doing those in a brighter red color. Okay. And then for, I think I'm going to do his lantern, give it a like wood look with a faux stain. So for that, I'm going to use a baby wipe. And then I just put it on my finger like that, and then I dip it in some of the brown and rub it around there. So it kind of gives it more of a, oh, I guess I should do the candle. Whoops. We don't want the candle to be brown. I'll have to go back and do that. So you can kind of see the grain through that. Just a little different than if you just painted it all solid brown. All right. So now black. I'm gonna refill my paints before the weekend. These are just his little hands, little gloves, mittens, whatever. And some people might paint the whole thing. I just paint what's going to be shown. Might as well save paint where you can. Because nothing's cheap these days. Okay, so, and this is the other hand. And that piece that I just painted will go on top of this, so you won't see any of that. All right. Okay, the other part I'm going to paint brown or black is the base. So I'll just do, these pieces are going to be glued together, so you don't need to paint the whole thing. I will just paint the part that's going to be seen. You could also do this brown or do that baby wipe kind of method. And you can do that with any color. So if you want to give something like a faux stain look. This part will be seen, so I'm going to cover that one. So if you have a good makeup wedge, whoa, you should be able to just kind of swipe it sometimes on the bigger pieces. Help speed up your painting. Some of those that are not that great might deteriorate if if you do that, but these ones are pretty good. I've been using these for, I don't know, the last year or two, so. And sometimes your black needs a second coat. Do that really quick. We got way too much on there. Well, crap. See, now that's what happens when you get too much paint on. And then it will take longer to dry. But that's okay. Most of it came off. Now it's just a solid. And then I can use the excess, to go over these again. And I don't always wait until it's completely dry. I'm a little impatient, I guess. It's mostly dry. As long as it gives it a good coverage. Sometimes you'll notice the paint will pick up the other paint that's not completely dry. But this one's dry enough, yeah. But I won't do that. Okay, so let's get those out of here. Okay, it looks like oh no, I thought that was paint. If you do get splatter, you can always just wipe it off with a baby wipe and then reapply your paint. It usually covers it just fine, so. Okay, those are done. Now all we have is the big guy. So yeah, he's pretty big, but most of him is actually not, you don't have to paint. So you can see the score lines here are where you are going to place your pieces. You don't have to paint that because it's going to be covered up anyways. This and then this part is just giving you an idea of where you need to paint that skin tone. So, but yeah, most of this I won't actually have to paint, so it shouldn't take that long. Get this stuff out of the way. Okay, I'm going with the crimson. Normally I would do that red, but I'm gonna try this. I think this will be fun. And if not, and nobody likes it, they don't have to buy it. It's just a sample. So in this case, I'm just gonna squirt it on there because I'm gonna be using more. And then I'm just gonna move it around my piece here. So again, you can kind of swipe and dab. I really like that. I haven't used this yet, and I bought it like a couple weeks ago. I just haven't had a chance to paint really very much lately. So just make sure that you get paint in all the right places. You know what don't know? I have a piece missing. The little ball for his hat. I don't know where that is. I'll have to look and see if it fell on the floor. You never know around here. Okay, so over here, this will be, oh my goodness. Don't be like me. I have a big, pretty decent sized table, but you know, I work myself to a corner because I got so much crap on it. Like what you're seeing here is basically the only area I have to paint. Okay. So I think that part, yeah. I think I squirted a little too much paint out. And this red has pretty good coverage. I will do a second coat on it though, just to be sure. We don't want him to look splotchy. Okay. You got way too much paint on there. Make sure you go down, because once you glue that piece on, you want to make sure you got it completely covered underneath there. Okay. Can you hear the TV upstairs? He's watching TV, but it's right above where I'm painting. I can't really understand what they're saying or anything, so that's good. I normally would probably do this in the evening, but we have baseball and football to watch tonight. Okay, good, you can't hear it. Okay. So I'll probably do another coat on him, but I like this color. Okay, we'll let him dry to the side and work our way back around. Make sure everything's got good coverage. Move this tree a little more. Okay. And I'm gonna do some frosty edges on there, so. Okay, a little more of the red. Oh, where's his nose? Where does his nose go? This is not a good time to lose pieces. Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. I do not know where that ball to his hat is, though. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Okay. Forgot I need to do his face. Let's see. Find some more scrap paper. I think most of this is going to be covered up by his hat and stuff, but I don't know because I haven't painted this yet. So I'm just going to go all the way around in the box. Okay. And of course my tape's gonna stick together. Okay, those are done. Dang, I don't know where that piece is for his hat. I'll just have to cut another one and show you the final picture later. If these are not it. I had a bunch of pieces. Oh. Hey, is that gonna work? No, not quite big enough. These are from an ornament that I cut, and those are not big enough. And of course I failed to check all the pieces. Dang it. Okay, so let me let dry. I'll let that dry a little bit longer. We can start doing some of the details. Okay, so here's another tip and trick. I love to use these distress crayons for doing my highlighting. They're super fast and easy. They come in a billion different colors. The only thing I wish is that you could buy like them individually. I don't know if you can do that somewhere, instead of having to always buy them in a pack. But I get these on Amazon. They are water reactive, so you can water them down, which is cool. But also that means that if you are worried about your piece possibly getting wet, or maybe moisture, I don't know if moisture would affect it. I don't always seal everything, but you can seal it with like a clear sealer. But I'll show you what I do with these, and then I'll do some of it with paint so you can see how you can do that as well. So for browns, I just grab one of the brown colors. This one's ground espresso, and I do this. This is how I do it, real simple. Now some people will use a brush and float their paint. I forgot I gotta paint that too. But I don't do that usually. I'm not very good at it, so you just do what you're good at, I guess. Do what's easiest for you. So I just go around the edges, and you can kind of see how it's getting a little darker on the edge. Just gives it a little dimension. And the good part too about these is if you didn't like how it looked, you can wipe it off, because it is water reactive. I have to do that sometimes when I do like rosy cheeks or things like that, because sometimes it doesn't turn out how I wanted. Okay, so you can put as little or as much as you want on there. And then since I did forget about the little candle, I guess I should paint that. I'll do the white and then a little yellow on top. So this one I'm gonna use a brush. Although you could use a makeup wedge too, and I got way too much paint on there. Might not be perfect, because you got these lines. Okay, so I'll let that dry and then do another coat on there, and then do the yellow. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Okay, so for his mustache and all the white pieces, I do black. Some people like to highlight, do those in do it in brown, but I think that makes it look kind of dirty, personally, and that's not what I want. So this is the same thing. This one's just a black one, and I just go around the edges, but you can also do this with paint, and I will show you that when I do the white, because I use paint to do the white. There is a white crayon, but it doesn't cover it very well, in my opinion. So you can see you're just getting a little extra dimension on there. It'll be easier to see when it's all put together. Okay. Yep. A little crazy there. So I tend to just do it lightly on the edges. I don't get too crazy with it. So just go around all these pieces that you want to have that dark edge. So I do this, I paint everything, I do all my edges usually, and then I glue. I had somebody ask me the other day if I glue it and then paint, and I was like, well, that you could, but that would probably make it a lot harder. Okay, so then we got this one. What do you think? Should I do, should I give him some texture in his hair, in his mustache, and his beard? Put lines in it? Or should I just outline it like this? Because you can do either. And you know what? You don't even have to do this. You could just paint it all and glue it together, and that'd be fine too. You don't have to get all crazy detailed if you don't want to. And I'm not real, I don't know, I don't get too crazy with my detailing. Paint's sticking to me. Okay, so those are good. Lines, okay. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna use paint. Let's see, I got maybe like some beige, some toasty gray. Give it a few different colors. Hopefully this turns out. Find a brush. Okay. And then the other thing I do when I do this kind of thing is I will water the paint down a little bit. There it is. And I just have this bottle that's like a mister bottle. So I just add a little water. It will help the paint flow. Just get it wet and then dip it. I don't have to get too crazy. Let's see. And then we just add some, maybe I'll do both. Go around the edges and do this. So this is just like a really warm, almost like brownish gray that I'm using, and then a beige, like an actual beige. And then I will also go back with some white to kind of blend it in. Get that wet. I'm not loving this. It's like drying too fast. That's creating more shadow. Maybe I just don't like the color. So I'm just going back through with some white in the water to kind of blend it a little better. Obviously it's gonna look different when it's all together, but just kind of go through and do wispy. This is some sort of angle brush. I don't have anything too fancy because, like I said earlier, I tend to forget to clean my brushes. So then they just get ruined. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a little darker gray here. Hopefully it looks okay. Oop. Okay, we're getting some more. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, that looks a little better. It'll look better once it's all put together. Now all I have to do is the mustache. Okay. Get some more water here. Just knocking things over. Okay. Hopefully this turns out. Oh my. Oops. I usually just leave it white, but I thought this may be kind of fun if I can get it to turn out. Okay. Try to blend it a little with the water down white. A little more gray. The mustache is hard. Oh, Santa. Okay. That'll be fun. It'll be good when it's all put together. Okay. The eyebrows. Oh, I don't know about these. I'll try. I feel like I have to do them if I did the beard. It's kind of hard to see that though. Good enough. Just get a little wispy on there. So again, you're not putting a ton of paint. Oh my gosh, like that. And this, I mean, this brush is, I don't know if it's because it's wet or it's just old, kind of separated, so it gives it that more wispy look. Okay, those are good. Okay, so now I'll show you how I do the white. Let's finish this guy really quick. I'll just do a little bit of yellow. Hopefully you're seeing this okay. I'm gonna have to get a better setup going. You got to see my weight and some plastic wrap. Bear with me. Okay, so just do a little yellow on that. We're gonna do some more red too. Okay, so for the white, so this is the same one that I was using earlier. It might have too much paint on it actually. Let's just get a new one. Okay, so I'm gonna get a fresh makeup wedge, and I got some white paint here. Put it in there and then dab it off. Seems weird, but you don't want it to be super thick. You want it to be really lightly on there. And then I'll show you here on these. So I just go around the edges and tap. Because you don't have a lot of paint on there, so it's not going to be like goopy on there. This is how I usually do it. Like I said, there is a white distress crayon. Not a huge fan of it. The coverage I don't think is very good. Plus you already have your white paint probably, so you don't have to buy anything. Okay, so there's those berries. So I just, yeah, I like these, like the frosted look of the berries. And you can do this with different colors of paint, depending on the look you're going for. And again, I'll do it on the black, just around the edges. And if you haven't noticed, I have not gone back in for more white because I don't need it. There's plenty on there. So, you can see that, and this one. This is just going to help it stand out, but like I said earlier, you don't have to do this. You can just leave it just solid black. Let's see. I guess I'll do these white too. Give them a frosty look. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little more paint on there. Dab it off. I don't know why I always test it on my hand. So I always have paint on my hands. And then I go around the edges like that. And you can do as little as much as you want. Another way to do it would be to, what's the word? Whitewash it. Is that right? Where you take the brush and you just kind of go all over it with white. I do that with some stuff, but it just depends on what it is. I'm not going to do that today, so I'll have to show that to you another time. Okay. Got most of Santa ready. We just need to paint the red again. Okay, and then I'll show you how I do the red on the cheeks too. Okay, I'm going to get this one more coat here. And I think the nose is good. Do some of this dark crimson again. Try not to put too much out this time. Just making sure I have good coverage here. So his suit doesn't look splotchy. I saw a Santa painted the other day, and he was done with like a beige color. So I thought that was kind of fun. Not the traditional red. I'm usually pretty traditional with my Christmas colors, but I thought that was cute. Okay, got him. Okay. And then, let's see. What I do his eyes. So for small details like the eyes and stuff, I like to use a really small brush. This one, because he's bigger, you could probably use something more like this. But like ornaments and stuff like that have the really fine details. These are eyeliner brushes, and I just get them on Amazon. And they make it a lot easier to paint the small stuff. You could also use a marker, or not a marker, but a paint pen. I do that with some of my ornaments because it's faster, can be faster. Oh, we got a little outside the line there. Oh boy, the dogs are going crazy again. Whoop. Almost stuck it in red. We don't want Santa to have red eyes. He might on Christmas Eve because he's tired. Okay. Okay. I wish I knew where that ball was for his hat. Probably on here, I just can't find it. It said I had slow connection a minute ago, so hopefully you can still see me. Oh. Okay, it's almost dry. Okay, so for the nose and the cheeks, I use the Distress Crayon. Let's see if I find my big one. Let's see. Oh, well, this isn't gonna help. But these are blending brushes. I bought them on Amazon. That's where I buy everything. That's where I buy a lot of things because we live in the sticks. And I use the Distress Crayon. Let's see. I don't know what color this is because it is worn off. But what I usually do is I like to put it on my hand. I don't know why. You could put it directly on there, but I just do a little bit on my hand, and then I dab the blending brush on in, and then I just go in and do circles and blend some cheeks in. And I don't know exactly, I usually do it around the eyes. I'm not going to go too close because my paint's still wet. You can make them as big and rosy as you want. I have no idea why I started doing that with my hands. On my hand. Yeah, they were pretty cheap, I think. I bought them a long time ago. And they are so much easier to do this with. And there's different sizes. So like this one's good for ornaments because it's pretty small. There might even be a smaller one than that, I don't know. But as you can see, these are the ones that I usually use. Okay. And then for the nose, which is here upside down, I will use a clean makeup wedge. And I just do what I did with the black, which is like put a little on it. Might need to offload if you put too much. And then for his little nose, I just do around the top of it. Can you see that? And give him kind of a little rosy nose. You can just add to it or like I said, you could wipe that off if you didn't like how it is, or maybe you don't like that color. You could always do that. But you could also do this with paint. And I should show you that, but that'll have to be next time. Oh my gosh, did I really just do that? Let me show you how to fix this. Ah! Just when you thought you were almost done. Oh my goodness, Ashley. This is what happens when you've been working long hours. Okay. Shoot. So you can just clean it up with a baby wipe. Oh my goodness. Okay. Almost like new. I'm just gonna go around it with that skin color again. And thankfully the one eye is salvageable. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll let that dry. Okay, so now I can go around with the white again on the edges of the suit, the red. Some people do black. I like white usually. Sometimes I do black around the edges, but I'm gonna do this today. So I just kind of tap, and if you get a little too crazy, you can, like I did there, use your words are hard, baby wipe. And you can come in a little. It's all about your preference, because you're going to be painting, well, maybe it's as a gift, but pieces for yourself or to give away. Okay, I got a little wild there. It's hard to keep all this in the camera because he's so big. I really wish I had thought ahead of time to cut that smaller one, because he comes in different sizes. And so I got a little over here and I don't really like it. So I'm just going to take that other color and come back and blend it back. And you won't even notice. Okay. This red could probably be a little better covered down here, but whatever. Okay, let me try to fix this eye again. I can't believe I did that. I just want to glue him together. See what he looks like. Touch that eye up. That's what I get for doing that when it wasn't completely dry. Okay, so these are like pointy Q-tips. And I like to use them just to like clean things up if I need to. It's nice because it has kind of that pointy end on it, which makes it easier to get to just little spots. Okay, I think I'm gonna hit this with the heat gun really quick. Okay, so now I can go back in and fix his cheek. Since I had to wipe some of that away. Okay. All right. And one last thing. I'm going to do the white on the tree. Maybe do a little more so it looks kind of snowy. All right. I think we can finally start gluing him together. Let me get this paint out of the way. So I don't stick any more pieces in it. Okay. Let's see, hopefully you can see this good. I'll have to figure out a better angle next time. Okay. So, my favorite glue to use is Art Glitter. Dries clear, dries pretty fast, doesn't take too long. It is permanent, it's water-based and non-toxic. I get it on Amazon, like I said. I get a lot of things on Amazon. But you can use wood glue. This is what I use at home when I'm working. I also have this one. I use this sometimes, and I use it for my classes. And I used to use this all the time, Stick Fast. It does stick really fast. I also don't like that it doesn't clean up that well. So if you mess something up, one, you don't have very much time to move it, but you also, like if it seeps out, you can't really clean it up very well. So I wouldn't, I don't know. I now use this just for certain things that I need to stick together and stick it fast. Haha. But, yeah, this is more like a super glue. You can use super glue too, but I would use like a wood glue, or you can find this on Amazon. It's not too expensive. And I refill these bottles, but this will last you a good amount of time if you don't do a ton of painting. Okay. Let's see, let's start with this piece. Let's see. Oh, let's see if I need, no. Okay, good. I thought I was gonna have to paint some more. So I might have got a little too crazy with its cheeks, but we're just gonna go with it. I didn't know how this was gonna line up. They're like a little too rosy for me, considering that's all you can see. So I'm gonna take some of it off. And because this is water-based, you can do that. And that's a little better, I guess. You could also probably go over it with some more of the paint, but I'm not going to bother to do that right now. Try to get this guy glued so we can get out of here, get on with the day. I got lots more to cut on my laser, so it'll be another late night. Okay, so I usually go around the edges, and then I just go around the middle, and then flip her over and try to get it lined up there. Oh, not very lined up. There we go. Okay. So you can see here I got some paint that came out, and that's the great part about this. You can just wipe it right off, clean it up. And then you still have a few minutes to move things around. So like this isn't quite lined up right. Make sure you press it down. Oh, see, it's still not lined up right. Okay. So yeah, that's the beauty of that glue. It dries fast, but not too fast that you can't move it and clean it up. And you can always come back in with some paint if you need to. Okay, let's make sure he's all good. Okay. there's that. Okay, now we can do this part. Okay. Just get that lined up good. And now we got his mustache. See, it's hard to see the lines now. There we go. Okay. This glue does dry clear too, so that's another plus. Okay. Gosh darn it. If you get too much glue, then it will slide around and it'll take longer to dry. It's hard to see at this angle. Okay. Clean that off. Okay, you can see it's starting to come together. Look like Santa. Let's do his little eyebrows. And I might need to come do the, yeah. I'll probably come through with the black just to give it a little more dimension on those, since it's on that white brim of his Santa hat. Okay. And I'll put a little bit on there for his nose. Drop his nose on there. Get him lined up. It's hard to see it when it's laying down. Okay. It's coming together. A little weird mark there. Touch that up. Okay, hopefully all the pieces are staying in place. Let's see, this one goes on here. Isn't he so cute? I can't wait to get a picture of him. Let's see. Okay. We're almost done. Except for I still have to find this piece. I'll probably cut a new one. But you know, as soon as I do, then I'll find it. Okay. This part. Oh, see, you got glue all over the place. Okay. That's okay though, because it's gonna dry clear. Now there's my lantern. That's cute with the little candle. And you could do this black too, but I liked the wood, kind of faux wood look. Super cute. Okay, so we're missing this piece. But we'll do his little greenery on his hat. I should have put the berry on there first. So I like to just do them off to the side like that. Oh my gosh, I must have making a mess. I love white, but it's so hard to keep it clean. Okay, let's see how this lines up. Okay. And then the small ones are for the lantern. And I did it again. I should have put the berries on. Okay, so just goes at the bottom of it. And I guess at the top. Like that. Just put a little spot of glue on there. Make sure you get those lined up properly. Not hard to do that. Okay. Okay, cute. Okay, let him sit for a minute while I glue the base together. So the base is going to have a couple of different pieces, and that's part of the reason I wanted to paint him live, was to show how the stand is put together. This is kind of confusing, and hopefully I have all the pieces. So these two pieces just go together, and you'll see you have slots here. Just try to line that up the best I can. Excuse me. Oh, I know I had that piece here. Gosh darn it. I'm just losing everything today. That's not it. Oh my goodness. I had all the pieces here when I started, I swear. Story of my life. Well, I might have to cut another piece for that. Gosh dang it. Okay. You just adore this Santa, and I will be right back so I can finish him because this part is important. And it won't take me, oh my gosh, it won't take me very long to cut it, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I needed this piece and I cut that one too while I was there. So I can finish his hat. Or, yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is dry now. So I'm gonna just go around this with the that white. This one's like pretty dried out, so I'll just give it a little something extra. You could dry brush this too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to flip my camera around so I can show you how to do this part, because I can't do it while it's laying down. Okay, let's see, how do we do this? take this out. Flip it around. Okay, hello. You know what? Stick you there for right a second. And this is so close. Okay. I'm trying to make this so I can have a better angle. Okay, hopefully you're still there. It needs to be a little further away for me to show you this, but I don't know. Dang. Maybe it would be better to have it down. Okay. So he has a little thing at the bottom of him so that he can go in this. It's really hard to get this on camera. So you can see he does fit into that, but that alone, he'll be really wobbly. So he comes with this piece. Let's see, that's a little better. And what you're gonna do is put him in there and then put this, oh, which way does it go? It should be right. So this will go in there, but this part that I just had to cut is the key. So you're going to want to, this is kind of hard to do on here, get him, okay, you want that to go over that. So, because you're going to glue this piece to the back so that it stays there, but to kind of get it lined up where it needs to be, you are going to want to put it all together like that. Okay, so let me just glue it, get some glue on there. Okay, actually come off the table. Okay, so you stick that in. And obviously if you buy anything like this that has a weird stand or anything, you can ask me. I try to send some instructions, but, whoa, that's very crooked. Okay. So, it should look like that, when you're done. And you can, if you want it to just stay all together and not be able to take the base off, you can take this whole thing apart. Just leave this on, it's gonna be glued on. But yeah, you'll be able to kind of break it down, I guess, if you want. So we'll let that dry, and then this would be an instance that you might want to use stick fast if you do want to glue this piece in, because you know, obviously you don't want to be standing here all day waiting for a glue to dry. You want it to do it fast so you could put it on there and press it together. But I think I'm going to leave it like that for now because I don't need it to be permanent. So yeah, let's see. Here he is. He's so cute. I just love him. He's even cuter than I thought he was going to be. And I love his beard and mustache. Super cute. So, if you've watched this whole thing, you have seen how to paint the Santa. And I'm going to get him listed here tonight. I have to take pictures of him. Oh yeah, I got to add his little ball. So he's complete. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Isn't he so cute? I just love him. And he's going to come in different sizes. So this one's 18-inch. So he's pretty big. But I think there's like 10 and 12 or the other sizes. Maybe 10 and 12. I don't know. It'll say on the listing, but yay, he's so cute. Okay. I've taken up enough of your all time. And my phone battery just said low battery. So it's perfect timing. All right. Thank you.